How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We're back for another Dokkan Battle video. In today's video, we have the GOAT's Easy A Int Yamcha here. We have him Max Link's Rainbow status, and we are ready to check this guy out. This guy was one of the best units during the 7th year meta. A lot to do with his leader skill, but even then, just as a very, very powerful unit. Even in spite of the fact that one of the major fights was a dodge canceling fight where he couldn't function, at his best, he was still that good. So it's curious to see how his EZA holds up here in the 10th anniversary meta. So we are going to be doing a full definitive guide here. So we're going to begin with our unit overview, then go into his best teams and link partners, and then talk about some of the stages that he can work well in, as well as talk about his hidden potential, and then hop on in to the showcase here. So let's start with the unit overview. So this guy has an entrance animation that activates once only. It gives him a chance of evading enemy's attack 20% for the first turn. He gets key 3 and attack and defense 200% for 5 turns. He gets key 3 and attack and defense 200% with a high chance of performing a critical hit. He has a high chance of evading enemy's attack and launches an additional attack that has a 70% chance of becoming a super attack. He randomly changes key spheres of certain type to rainbow key spheres. For every rainbow key sphere obtained, he gets defense 40% and chance of evading enemy's attack 10%. For every attack performed, he gets attack defense 40% up to 200%. And for his chance of performing a critical hit, 10% up to 50% for every attack performed. After evading an attack, he launches 2 additional attacks. Each of which has a 50% chance of becoming a super attack within the turn. As the second or third attacker in the turn, he launches an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super attack, and chance of evading the enemy's attack 10% within the turn for every attack performed. So pretty good. He is greatly raising an attack with each of those that he does, as well as having a high chance to stun the enemy. So let's talk about let's talk here a little bit about his best teams, right? Because that's going to be the big issue, right? In the 10th anniversary meta, just like in the 7th when he released, right? Teams are limited. So some of his best teams include the following, right? And these are just a few examples. A lot of what you're going to see for him are on Tao's team. So like the showcase team that we have here that we're going to be using up at the top. Another good team that would be for him with Tao would be relying on the NTN as a partner, and having another rotation of the SCRTN and Tao with Blue and Glorio as your floaters. Another good team that could work well for him is the STR10's team for Earthlings and Final Trump card. This gives you access to Gogeta and Vegito, who can be, of great assistance. So you can have a rotation there of them, and then a rotation of him and Bulma, or a rotation of Tao and TN with Yamcha or Bulma floating. Either way could work. Another good rotation team is his own team, is still very viable as a 200% team. You can run things like Damagoku, Kid Goku, his best link partner, or like you can toss in the Vegito there in case you need to clean up at the end of some of these fights, right? These are just a few examples of some teams you can run that would work well depending on the type of event. The Tao's team especially, right? This one here is going to work well in something like Battle Hardened Formidable Foes. So up next, that takes us to his link partners, right? Always when we talk about units, we are concerned with how well they link with other units. So one thing I like to use is this website here, the Dokkan FYI. I will link it in the description down below, but it's a great tool for analyzing link partners. I like to use it a lot when I start looking at who to use. So as we can see here, as I mentioned, Krillin and Gohan, who have already received their EZA, are his best link partner for 5 links. 4 link partners right now are kind of out of the question. Not really any good ones, at least until the Goku Piccolo's EZA, or possibly this guy. See, during his initial reign, during the 7th to 8th year meta, him and Beast Gohan were great partners together. So until these guys EZA, we're kind of on our own for partners. That he's got a ton of great three link partners, right? The, top tier units in the game, right? We've got Hit, we've got Cell, we've got Kaioken Goku, we've got the the year 7 LR EZAs, we've got Pathku, we've got the Gohans, right? Goku, Frieza, like these are all really, really good units that can slide onto these teams that he will link at least with 3 links, right? Which means that, in the situations where you move him to slot 2, your slot 3 unit could cover those extra links that he's missing. For example, right? Having, him and these guys in slot 1 on a final trump card team with Glorio in slot 3, right? It's not ideal for him, right? Because he does, but as long as he's dodged the first time and gotten those additional supers, he could settle fine in slot 2. He'll work great. But ultimately, he is limited on his partners at the current moment. In terms of his, in terms of his best fights, right? Festival of Battles is right out, but he's going to work well in most of these red zone fights here. His only major issue is going to be the final fight here against Jiren, and that is just because this is a long 15 turn fight, so you're going to find yourself that towards the end, like when you get to Jiren, you're probably going to be floating him off, especially since it is dodge canceling, which is kind of how you handled Broly. The same goes for the final Vegeta fight. Now the Goku fight he's kind of out of the question for this fight just altogether because it's dodge canceling from the get-go. But the Vegeta fight, right, he's going to work quite well in. Battle hardened formidable foes is where he is going to shine. These are short fights. He'll never lose his intro, and he will pretty much be at his max by turn 2, helping you slide through these enemies. So that's kind of going to be where he deals best. So coming back, the last thing we're going to look at before we hop into the showcase is his hidden potential. So let's go ahead and let's take a look here. So Yamcha's best hidden potential is taking advantage of what he does best, his additionals, right? Because he builds himself through the additional attacks he does, whether he supers or not, additionals are going to be the best thing for him. You can lean in a little bit into dodge on his sub or even full dodge, but you do want to get as much additionals as possible to help him build up quicker. Crit is completely unnecessary for him as he does have plenty of crit built into his own passive and a way to build it up through those additionals. So there's really no need to have any crit on him. So that brings us to the final piece here, our showcase. So let's go ahead, let's hop on in here and let's wrap this up with a good showcase for Yamcha up against the Merge Samas. Alright, so it does look like we have him here on turn 2. Seems to be about par for the course here. So we have a really bad turn 1 too, of all things. So alright, so I think what I'm gonna do here is I'm actually gonna float blue. I know that's not ideal, but I mean it's kind of necessary. I'm gonna float blue and I'll put this here. I'm gonna let Krillin and Gohan get some free build up here with protection. And then we'll float them the next turn. I was a little bit worried about that. Okay, hopefully blue dodges in the 3rd slot there. Yeah, this is par for the course. We'll never get a showcase where we get the link partner and the showcase unit on turn 1. That would make things too easy. Although showing up turn 2 is probably not too bad here. It gives us a little extra room to ensure we hit the final phase with his intro still up. And if we can time this right, we should be able to do it by getting Gogeta on that turn too. Actually, maybe not. We might get Gogeta the turn after we lose it, which I guess is fine because we can see what that turn looks like. There we go. Yeah. So these guys do build attack and defense when they're in their base form, so that's kind of why I'm keeping them on, so we can get an extra turn in their base form before they do their costume change, because they do stop stacking defense once they do the costume change. So that's kind of why I wanted to do that. Or is it attack? I gotta double check on that. It's one of those. Alright, so we do have Yamcha here now. Now, he's going to be linked with Tao, who I think he has 2 links with. Or no, I think he just has 1 link with Tao. Yeah, 1 link. Fierce Battle. So, let's grab 4 links here. Let's grab that. Or not 4 links. So you can see not the greatest 400k on his start of turn defense there. It's not ideal. You know, it could be better, but we can make it work here. So we do get the dodge. We start with 7 million. Again, not the greatest. We're not linked well with anybody here, but he is going to build up with each of these attacks that you guys remember. He builds up to additional 200%. Now, we missed the 70% chance and the 50% chance. We do get the final percent chance, which brings him up to 16 million. So, I mean, his turn 1 is really rough. Where he's really going to shine is that turn 2. Honestly, I mean, if we were actually getting additional supers, it'd be much better. But we are missing those supers. What is going on here? Very nice. Okay. Alright, and there goes the super on Tao. Okay, and not a lot of damage, but enough. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna float Krillin and Gohan here now. I'm actually just gonna grab that. He did super. There we go. And then we may as well just do that because we're gonna lose it when they come back again. Perfect. So hopefully, oof. Yeah, okay, I kind of knew that was going to do a lot. Hopefully we get the... Okay, no, they might not get an extra stack. We should have just moved him over. We should have just... Well, I mean, we wouldn't have been in too much of a better situation here. Or maybe our Glorio will decide to kind of do nothing here. We'll see. Nope, yeah, now he pops off. So he's gonna pop off, but Yamcha couldn't. Yeah, okay, so they do lose out on those defensive stacks. That is a shame. So we should have just floated him off then. We should have just floated him off. Okay, so we're gonna float the blue off here. We're gonna grab that with Int Yamcha. Not ideal. We do get a little bit, but you see our defense is in a much better position now, right? So if we were to miss a dodge, we would still do okay here. Right? Because we at 1.5 million defense, but we do only have 1 link here. Hopefully we dodge this super. We do. Excellent. All right, and now 22 million. So you see on his second appearance, it's a lot better. There we go. Alright, and then we do get the additional super for 24 million. We would be looking a lot better if those guys were over here on rotation with us, but, you know, is what it is. Okay, so at this point, he's now fully built up. Can we squeeze 1 more super out of here? No. Okay. So, yeah. So you can see where the major problem can lie for this guy. Alright. Excellent. And that means, so with that, he's now received enough attack. So Rose is fully buffed up now, which could be potentially dangerous if we don't dodge here. Blue does dodge, good. Now Tao eating a super here is what's really dangerous. Alright, let's see here. Actually, we should just stay in that and get the extra attack. Really? 4-ish? Okay, so we're gonna have to take that. this is not ideal here. I don't know if we can live with 2. This is a pretty strong attack. Yeah, I didn't think so. So hang on, we're gonna. Alrighty, so we went ahead and we reloaded here. We got our setup for the next rotation. So we're actually just gonna go ahead and we're gonna use the Ghost Usher here because we know that Rose does always super in slot 1. So we're actually just going to do this number and use the Usher so we can ensure that we get to our next rotation with the characters that we want, because we don't want to be screwing this up again. So there we go. We got Tao doing what Tao needs to do. And boom. All right, and that drives us into the next rotation. The best part about this is it is still on the rotation where we have the we do have the Krillin and Gohan, and we still have our we still have our intro passive up. So this is perfect. Alright, so we're gonna do 2 things here. Let's go ahead, let's fuse here. Alright, so let's take a look here. Pre-fusion. Look, we're 1.3 million defense. We're actually gonna go ahead and grab, so we can get 3 rainbow orbs, but we're not going to. We're gonna transform with Gogeta first. Or not transform, but rather use his actives so he can bring out some extra rainbow orbs for us. And possibly see if we can get a little bit higher. 3. Okay, so it looks like 4 is what we're going to get here. So we are going to use his active skill. So we got 2 million start of turn defense here. Okay, pretty good on the active skill. Alright, so let's grab that. Let's use their active skill. So we can see here we are at 2.5 million defense, which is pretty good, if you ask me. So we're going to go ahead, let's see, let's grab this with Krillin and Gohan. And I guess we'll take this with the Gogeta. Yeah, that should be good. Alright, so let's do it. Let's see how we do here. So we do get the initial dodge. We do see that that super attack is in front here. We do get some more dodge. I love seeing that. Alright, how about the super here? We do dodge the super. We got that UI Yamcha going on here. 50 million. So that's pretty good. And that's pretty much the max you're going to really be able to hit with him to be... well, I mean, obviously additional supers notwithstanding. But, right, because this is his max passive, right? We still have his entrance passive up. Wow, we actually got the turns. 58 million. Okay. We take those. 61 million. Oh, I love it. Okay, that is the UI Yamcha that we miss and remember. You must squeeze one last out for us for that 65 million. Good job, Yamcha. Okay. Now that's a show. He put on a show for us. Okay. There we go. Alright, we get... okay, nice. These guys are taking double digits. That's what I like to see. Perfect. Okay, so oh, hey, those guys just kind of casually chilling at 50 million. Okay. Well, okay, not casually. We do have Gogeta boosting them, but still, pretty good. Very nice. Okay, we're gonna get an additional for 35 million. Not bad. Okay, yeah, it is a shame. I mean, these guys can work, right? They pretty much have a 70% chance to dodge, and they stack defense. So I mean, they can be good. A little risky at first, but once they're there. You know. Okay, so now obviously our Gogeta is not going to be the best. He's on a 170 here, and we only stacked twice, I think, with him. But that's fine. I mean, we got Tao on the next rotation, who's just going to clean house. Since we have a full mission execution rotation, we can use his active skill and just wrap things up here. Perfect. links. We get another super. Okay, so you know what? I'm very impressed with what Yamcha just pulled off for us. That's the Yamcha we know and remember. Relative to the release, of course. We might have to turn that into a short. We might have to clip that and turn that into a short. That was that. I mean, that was some impressive movement by Yamcha. Excellent, yeah. So I didn't think Gogeta was going to kill here. But perfect, yeah. So yeah, you can definitely see, right? As long as you keep it within those turns, he's going to be fine. All right, so let's start. Let's do the Dokkan Battle. Okay, not quite enough to take him down there. All right, how about the second one? Not quite. Almost, but not quite. Okay, now we're gonna do this because we're not stupid. But we're gonna try to see if we can. Can we get 5 here? Come on, there's 5. I see 5. All right, well we'll do that. But I mean, obviously with the super attack right there, I'm not risking blue missing a dodge. So I would rather just know that, you know, Tao here is going to tank without being linked, and then we can just hit the second Tao in the second in the second rotation, just in case the first one doesn't kill, right? Because we would probably need an additional. Well, actually no, we probably could have killed. Well, there we go. I was going to say we would need an additional super, but never mind. Okay. Oh yeah, the other one probably could have killed, but I wasn't willing to risk it. Just in case blue failed the dodge, right? We wouldn't want that to happen. Perfect. All right, and there you guys have it. There is Int Yamcha's EZA showcase. That is what we want to see with Yamcha. When you put Yamcha in situations where he works, i.e. within his entrance passive, right? Within his entrance passive, he's going to be fine, right? 65 million is what we got there with him. And that pretty much means, right, with 5 turns to work with for his entrance passive, Battle Hardened Formidable Foes is the way you want to go for him. Yeah, maybe, you know, he could probably get away with the STR Jiren fight, because that one moves a little bit faster than the AGL Jiren fight, but even then, by the end, you're floating him off, to be completely honest. That's just how he's going to work. He will be fine defensively, but offense is going to take a steep nosedive. Now, the thing about Yamcha, right, links. Let's talk about links, right? As you guys saw earlier in the showcase, he doesn't have many good link partners, right? We're using Krillin and Gohan here, for example, and that's just the way it is. But understand that if you don't bring somebody who can link well with him and at least activate links like N-Fighter, he's gonna have, because those give him some pretty high attack stats. He's not going to perform well offensively. I saw a lot of posts around the time that he released, or that his details released, about his offense stat, and then, you know, we're looking at a rotation where he's got Fierce Battle only active, right? That's not good. That doesn't work well for him. You need a rotation where he's got at least 2 to 3 links active if you're going to be worrying about his offense. Even here, we only have 5 links with the Krillin and Gohan, and that's just the way it is, right? So until some of those 4 link partners get their EZAs, this is kind of where he's at. Things could change for him in the future, though. We'll see. So, guys, that is it for the video. That is the definitive guide for the Int Yamcha. If you guys liked the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And in the comments down below, let us know what do you think of Int Yamcha and his EZA. Did we do a good job showcasing him here? Did you really see what Yamcha was capable of? Let us know in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and aloha.